Hey guys, welcome back to Father Fragrance. I'm Tyler, so happy to see you. We're going to be doing an in-depth review of a niche fragrance that's really good for the upcoming warm weather. Comes out of a house that's really neat out of Istanbul, believe it or not. And this one has a pretty interesting take on the Aventus DNA. So if you're at all a fan of this, you're probably going to want to watch this, all right? As always on a Father Fragrance review, we're going to start with our presentation. We'll move into the scent profile. We'll then go into the performance. And then last, we're going to look at the pricing. Then after we've looked at all those factors, we'll combine them all, get an overall look on it, and then I'll give it a final rating out of 10. So don't go nowhere. I'm going to cue that intro and then we're going to jump right in. Let's get it, baby. All right, let's kick this thing off with presentation. The fragrance that we're going to be taking a look at today is Nishane Hacivat, or Hacivat is the other way I've heard it said. So as you can see, this is our box. We're going to always start with that because that is the first thing you're going to see on the presentation when you open this bad boy. So as you can see, it's got this, I'll kind of walk through this. There's actually kind of an interesting kind of like sleeved box here. So this first part that you're seeing here is actually a sleeve facade. There's actually, I'll kind of go like this. And as you can see, this little box portion slides into that. So there's nothing on there. And there it is on the bottom. Nothing, same thing. So this is the 100 milliliter bottle. And as you can see, this is an extrait de parfum. And if you're not familiar with what that means, that's actually the strongest concentration of perfume oil that you'll find. So typically that's going to mean big performance, right? Well, we'll see later on. There it is on the back of that. Just ingredients list, 100 milliliters, the name of the fragrance, and extrait de parfum. And as you can see here, this guy, it's probably hard to see, but made in Turkey. Like I said, this is actually from Istanbul. Pretty cool. Here it is on the side. That's kind of their emblem there. Pretty cool stuff. All right, so let's unbox this and then we'll see what's in there. Okay, and something kind of unique is inside is this little card that comes with it included. And if you unfold it, this little guy's inside. So this is just a cool little art piece that they have that also includes the fragrance name as well as the notes on it. So we're going to dive into that a little more, but as you can see here, if you're reading this, the top notes, the heart notes and base notes included here, you can kind of see how this does have some similarities to Aventus, and that's why people compare it to that. We'll see if I actually think that that's the case when I actually smell it, but you can see how these kinds of notes in there, right? Bergamot, pineapple, grapefruit, patchouli, oak moss, like these are things that you see in Aventus. We'll see if that's actually the case when we smell it. So it's just a neat little included piece. Okay, and here's what the actual box looks like once you've unsleeved it. So just a black box, house name, still got the extrait de parfum. Same thing is pretty much as on that sleeve, right? It's just black, so nothing else on there. And then this is actually how they present it. So it slides out right here and it has this nice little padded section that the fragrance sits inside. I pulled mine out because standing here, I'm afraid I'm going to drop it. So, but just imagine what this would look like with the fragrance in there, I guess. So it's pretty nice presentation, I think. It's honestly quite nice. Feels luxurious, right? So it does feel like you're getting kind of a high quality product from a high quality house. Okay, and now that we've got the box out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the fragrance bottle. So as you can see here, easy peasy. Not a lot going on, right? You have this nice, like perfect cube shape. Has the fragrance name in the house, also the Istanbul at the bottom. And then as you kind of move it around the sides, you'll see that this is just very clean, very simple, but that's pretty stylish, honestly. It's got this nice, like almost pearl coated paint on the outside of the bottle. So let's flip it over. We got underneath basic information similar to what's on the boxes, right? Nothing too exciting. And then that's the top. That would be the cap. We're gonna go ahead and remove that. It's a nice heavy cap. This thing, actually, the cap is probably the nicest portion of the entire presentation, honestly. It's super nice if you ask me. That's what it looks like underneath. It's nice and heavy, a little shiny. You do have to wipe this down. As you can see, as I'm touching it, you know, fingerprints getting on it. But yeah, super nice cap. Goes right on. Doesn't fit very snug, at least mine didn't. So as you can see that, I mean, that just comes right off, like I'm barely even pulling it. But, you know, it's nice and heavy, so it stays there on its own anyways. So there you have it for the presentation. All right, now, so moving on to the meat and potatoes of this review. You know what time it is? It's juice time, baby. Let's go. As always, I'm gonna spray it on a tester strip. I'm gonna immediately smell it so I can get it right off the top, get an idea of what we're getting on the opening. And then as I'm discussing those things, I'm going to go ahead and discuss what I'm smelling as it continues to dry down. Additionally, we'll go through an actual full note breakdown as well. And then I'll let you know what notes I'm smelling, and then, you know, I'll kind of paint a picture for you as to what kind of a scene I get out of this, okay? The nice thing is they're nice enough to include an official note breakdown, so I'll just read it right off of that because that's coming right from the house, right? Anyways, enough of that stuff. Let's get this juice on this strip and see what we got. Here we go. Let's check that atomizer too, of course. Get nice and close for you. Oh yeah. Hey, that's a nice little atomizer on there. Oh man, I don't even need to put this on my nose. I can smell it. That stuff's kicking. Oh yeah, beautiful opening. Very fruity. It's got this like very ripe pineapple smell. You could get a little of the citruses in there as well, but it's mostly pineapple, and I love that. Yeah, it's almost like an overly ripe pineapple with citruses in there. So it's kind of a, think of like walking by like a fruit stand with pineapple in there. It's actually, it's pretty nice, guys. And already I am starting to get some of the green notes out of there. So like I'm getting like some like oak moss, right? And patchouli. Those are already showing up pretty fast. Like I only just started smelling this. So again, Nishane included this in the packaging. So I have the official note breakdown. So I'll just read right off of that while I got it, right? So top notes, bergamot, pineapple, grapefruit. I already told you for sure I'm getting that fruitiness. It's very, very apparent, and it's super good. And it's like really lovely. Then it says heart notes are jasmine, patchouli, or cedarwood. It's also known as the mid, right? And again, I'm getting some of those green like wood notes in there, patchouli for sure. And then the cedarwood, I can see it as well. It's not as apparent, but it's just kind of like a general wood smell in there. So it's making it feel much more masculine. I don't find most fruity fragrances to be very masculine, but if they're backed up by notes like that, green notes that are fruity, or excuse me, green notes that are woody, then it really, really helps. And I think that those are really good. And then lastly is clearwood, oak moss, and dry timberwood. The oak moss is the star here. As it continues to dry, you start to get this almost like slight smoky, like damp earth in there. And it, to me, is intoxicatingly masculine. This is going to be a turn off for a lot of people, especially if you're coming in. So I know I just backed this up by saying this has like Aventus style DNA, and it does resemble it to a degree. Where it starts to depart is here in this dry down, okay? It, to me, becomes more masculine than Aventus. And the reason for it is this kind of earthiness that lingers throughout on the dry down, which kind of mostly comes from some of these hard woods, and especially out of the oak moss. I have heard this fragrance considered an oak moss bomb. I don't think that that's fair to the fragrance. It's much more than just oak moss, but it is very apparent in this fragrance. And because of that, it does give it a very masculine edge, more so than Aventus. And I love that, guys. I'm a huge fan of that. I can't stop smelling it. I just want to keep going back to it, right? Man, you still get the brightness and that kind of fruity like freshness that's just coupled with the down to earth, that dark, damp earthiness that you get from like oak moss and these hard woods. And it's a beautiful marriage. Honestly, gorgeous. I mean it. Oh my gosh. So we all know Aventus is like maybe the greatest of all time, like the GOAT fragrance for men, right? This is regularly considered the best ever made, given the fact that everyone on earth has tried to copy it. They've all, I mean, this is a niche house that has basically given their take on it, right? So we all know if you've smelled it, it's pretty amazing, right? Like it's pretty worth the hype, right? Is this redundant to Aventus? I don't think so. In fact, I know that people are going to give me hate for this. I think this improves on it because to me, it takes some of the best things of Aventus, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. I know I'm kind of a lone wolf here, but I like the masculine portion of Aventus, like the birchwood smokiness. That's my favorite part of it. The fruit stuff can, whatever, it's nice. It's good to get you that end result of the like it makes it a balanced fragrance, but the portion of me that makes it this like king of manly fragrances is those masculine notes, the smokiness, the green notes. That's what shines on this one. And that's why I like this a little more. To be honest, I swear I do. It's why I own this and not Aventus right now. This, guys, I think it improves on it, right? And that's okay. Like, it's okay that other people are taking that DNA and shooting their shot on it, right? All these kind of fragrance houses do that since the beginning of time. So kind of a long-winded explanation for this because I knew I have to kind of speak all of what's on my mind about this because I know I'm going to get a little bit of like pushback, right? So I wanted to kind of lay out my opinion on that scent profile. Okay, and then when and where to wear this. just like Aventus, literally anytime, any place. This is elevated enough to be taken into formal settings. It is sexy enough to be worn at date night. It is fresh enough to be worn in warm weather. And it is earthy enough to be worn in cooler weather. Like, this is gonna shine no matter what. There's no limit to where you can wear this. So this thing is signature scent worthy, right? That is kind of, you know, what Aventus was to begin with, right? This has that same kind of thing going on for it. This is a beautiful fragrance. The scent, guys, if this isn't if this ain't a 10 out of 10, it's like a 9.5 out of 10. It's so hard for me to just be like 10 out of 10, like to say it's a perfect fragrance, like on scent is difficult. But I think the only reason why I'm like hesitant to do that is because Aventus has been around for so long, that DNA, and this is definitely in that vein. You kind of take it for granted, right? And you kind of overlook it. At the end of the day, dude, this is amazing. Like, it's a compliment getter for sure. So I think this is a 10 out of 10. For me it is. Keep in mind, I love the earthiness. I love that kind of smokiness, that damp earth. If you don't like that stuff, you might not enjoy this, and you're gonna call me crazy. But this is me giving you my opinion on it. So that's what it is. All right, next we're going to talk about performance. On this one here, as you can see, this is an extrait de parfum, right? Sometimes with those, you'll get insane longevity, but the projection might actually be relatively intimate, right? So what I mean by that is that when you spray on an extrait, sometimes you'll be able to smell this for like 48 hours off your skin, but you'd have to put your nose up to it. It's a skin scent within like an hour. That is not the case with this one. This thing has crazy sillage, okay? Crazy projection for just a couple sprays. Like, I still smell it all throughout the room in here. I sprayed it 2 times. You just saw me, and it is pushing like crazy. When I first got my hand on this, I sprayed it on like a piece of paper that came in the packaging just because I didn't have anything else to spray it on. When I sprayed it on that, I had it in my kitchen, dude. We could smell it in the kitchen. 2 shots of that. We could smell it in the kitchen from like feet away throughout the entire day. So this thing is, it is a projection monster as well. With that being said, that means 2 things. First thing is, don't overspray this one, okay? Please don't do that. Especially in the warm weather, you're gonna knock someone's nose clean off, okay? Somebody's gonna get sick of smelling you, and they might even come up and say something to you. So keep that in mind. The second thing about that is that this thing right here, then, it's gonna last you a long time, dude. And you only need a couple sprays every day you use this. If that's the case, well, this is 100 milliliters, man. That's sticking around a long time. And this is signature scent worthy, like I just said. So you'll be using this plenty, but you'll still have lots of days of use out of it because you don't need a ton of it to get really good performance out of it. And if you spray it on yourself and it gets on your clothes, this stuff will last on that forever, man. Like, you'll be able to smell this days after. You'll be pulling your dirty laundry out, and as you're putting it into the washing machine, you're gonna catch Hacivat on the way. I promise you that. So longevity is there. Projection is there. Sillage is there. This thing is a beast performer, man. It's like minimum 9 out of 10 again on this front. This thing is it's a killer beast. So I mean, literally 9.5 out of 10, 10 out of 10 on performance. It's monstrous. All right, and then last but not least, no pun intended, is our pricing. I love talking about pricing. The reason I do is you can't know whether something's worth it or not unless you know how much it costs, right? If it's an awesome fragrance and it costs $1 trillion, it don't matter. If it's terrible but it's cheap, man, maybe you're all right. You know what I mean? So I always like to do this because honestly, bang for your buck has to be important. So with that being said, let's talk about pricing here. This one here is pretty good, especially for a niche fragrance, right? From a niche house. You can expect anywhere, you know, if you're getting a 50 milliliter bottle, it's close to, you know, $110, $120, kind of in that vein in there from most discounters. And then for the 100 milliliter, which is what I have here, I've seen it anywhere from like 150 to 200 bucks, kind of in that ballpark for the most part. Now, considering that a lot of other of the Aventus style fragrances and stuff could be, you know, if they're getting like straight up clones, those are much cheaper. But this is significantly better than those. If you're thinking about, if you're like trying to compare something that is of similar quality to Aventus, but, you know, and trying to save money, well, then you might be in the right spot here. You know, Aventus is anywhere from like 200, a little over 200 bucks, usually discounted, right? Currently. So this is going to be quite a bit cheaper than that. Crazier than that, I got this one on Fragrance Marketplace. That was like 95% full presentation. I just showed you the box and everything like that. 95% full. I got it for $95. I doubt you'll be able to find it for that kind of money. But if you do, I would buy it now. And then like, if you don't like it, sell it again and you might make money on it. I'm dead serious, right? So If you were to find it at that price, I would blind buy that thing. And you know, I've never told you to do that before. So it's an insane price if you get it for that. So pricing on this is reasonable. I'm going to give it like 8 out of 10. You find it for $95 is a 10 out of 10. Buy it right now. All right, so we covered our presentation, we covered our scent profile, we covered our performance, and we covered pricing. That's all of the wickets, man. We hit them all. We got all the check boxes, all right? So taking all those things in consideration, what do we think? What are we looking at? I told you how much I enjoy this scent. And I told you this thing performs like a monster, and it's priced pretty well. I want to give this a 10 out of 10, but it's very hard for me to do that for the simple reason that this is a niche house and they kind of borrowed somebody else's idea. And I think because we've smelled a million different Aventus kind of style things, even though this doesn't smell exactly like it, like, please don't take it as I'm telling you this is an Aventus clone. It just has similarities to it, and everybody's going to compare it to that. So that's why I'm bringing it up. You're going to hear this a million times. It makes it difficult to give this a 10 out of 10. And it is a very good fragrance. So for that reason alone, it's going to be really close, but I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10 sniffs, which, come on, man, like, could you really be upset with that? 9.5 is, we're talking 95%, dude. That's good stuff, man. I can't recommend this enough, especially if you like that kind of Aventus style DNA, but you want something different, a little twist, maybe a little more masculine edge to it. That's why I got it. And if you're somebody looking for something like that, this is going to scratch that itch for sure. You got to check this stuff out, man. Thank you guys so much for watching another video with me. This has been Father Fragrance. I'm Tyler. I really appreciate you guys coming. I hope you enjoyed what you watched. I hope you found it entertaining and a little bit informational. If you didn't, I'm very sorry about that, but man, am I happy you stuck around to watch this long. If you have any recommendations on what I could do to make this a little better, please get down in the comments and let me know. If you have any requests of fragrances you'd like to see reviews on, or certain types of fragrance related content that I haven't done that you would like to see, or that I have done and you'd like to see more of, please let me know just the same. I hope to see you guys again real soon. In the meantime, God bless and stay smelly, y'all.